The world is currently facing a complex and concerning situation as tensions escalate in the Middle East. If you've been following the news, you're probably aware that the region's stability is hanging by a thread. This has far-reaching implications, especially when it comes to energy markets, specifically oil and gas. In this article, we'll explore how and why these escalating conflicts are impacting global energy supplies and what it means for you. The Middle East has long been a crucial player in the global oil and gas markets. A significant portion of the world's oil-producing nations are located in this region, making it a vital source of energy for many countries. However, with this concentrated production comes heightened risks and vulnerabilities. Any disruption in the Middle East can send shockwaves through the energy markets, and that's exactly what we're witnessing now. Since October 7, oil prices have been on an upward trajectory. The price of crude oil, particularly WTI crude, has been quite volatile, but the overall trend is undeniably upwards. WTI crude opened at $85 per barrel, and this increase isn't solely due to Middle East conflicts, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Natural gas prices have also surged. Disruptions in production have been observed due to recent developments in the Middle East. This means there's now an exponential amount of risk in the energy markets, something we haven't experienced in decades. The World Bank has issued a dire warning, stating that oil prices could skyrocket, potentially exceeding $100 per barrel. Even a minor disruption in oil supply resulting from the Middle East conflicts could remove up to 2 million barrels a day from global markets. The outlook can darken quickly, as the World Bank puts it, with a medium-sized disruption of 3 to 5 million barrels per day, driving prices as high as $121 per barrel. But this isn't the worst-case scenario. If multiple fronts open up and more countries are dragged into the conflict, the potential for disruption increases. The worst-case scenario could result in the removal of up to 8 million barrels of oil every day, driving oil prices above $157 per barrel. This would be comparable in magnitude to the 1973 OPEC oil embargo. The 1973 OPEC oil embargo serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of major disruptions in oil supply. OPEC nations imposed an oil embargo in 1973, which led to a fourfold increase in the price of crude oil. This embargo had far-reaching effects, sending manufacturing costs soaring, causing consumer prices to rise, and leading to high unemployment. This period of economic turmoil is now known as stagflation, a combination of extreme stagnation and inflation. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is acutely aware of the potential ramifications of a disruption in the supply of energy resources, especially right before winter. IMF's head, Kristalina Georgieva, has stated that she and her team are thinking the unthinkable to prepare for the next major shock to the global economy. The implications of such a shock can be widespread, affecting not just the energy sector but also various other industries and daily life. The situation in the Middle East is fluid, and it's impossible to predict with certainty how it will unfold. However, there are several scenarios that may come to pass, each with its own set of consequences. Closure of the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage is crucial for transporting oil from the Persian Gulf to the rest of the world. Approximately 17 million barrels of crude oil per day are shipped through this strait. Closing it would have devastating consequences for many countries in Asia and Western Europe, as up to 30% of the world's consumed crude oil is shipped through this point. While this is an extreme scenario, it's unlikely at this point because of its indiscriminate impact on global energy supplies. Partial oil embargo. Turkey, for example, supplies oil to Israel, and recent statements by President Erdogan suggest that he might be considering an embargo. There's a precedent for such embargoes, as evidenced by the events of the 1970s. However, it's important to remember that this would not be a complete repeat of history, and the consequences could be different in the modern context. One crucial lesson from past energy crises is the importance of strategic reserves. Many nations realized in the 1970s that they needed to have a certain degree of control over their natural resources and reserves. Factors like population size and climate conditions play a role in determining how countries manage supply and demand. If they aren't producing their own energy resources, they should establish and competently manage strategic reserves. However, when we look at the official data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, it's clear that the U.S.'s Strategic Petroleum Reserves, SPR, are at their lowest level since the early 1980s. This is a concerning trend, especially in the face of potential disruptions in global energy supplies. One question that arises is whether there are plans to replenish the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Experts have previously stated that refilling the reserve could take years. Crude oil would have to be purchased at the current market price, which is quite high. Refilling the reserve with millions of barrels of oil is a complex and expensive endeavor. For consumers, the impact of these developments can be felt most directly at the gas pump. If oil prices continue to rise, gasoline prices will follow suit. Currently, with oil prices around $85 per barrel, you're likely paying a certain amount for gasoline. However, if oil prices climb above $100 or, in the worst-case scenario, reach $150, you can expect to see a significant increase in gas prices. This, in turn, affects the cost of transportation, which has been on the rise, and that has a ripple effect on the prices of various products, including groceries and other necessities. It's important to note that geopolitics plays a significant role in the energy markets. Political decisions and conflicts can have a profound impact on the supply and demand for oil. In this case, the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East are a clear example of how political instability can disrupt energy markets. To mitigate these risks, it's crucial for nations to diversify their energy sources and invest in renewable and sustainable alternatives. This reduces the dependence on a single source and minimizes the impact of geopolitical conflicts on energy prices. The situation in the Middle East is highly volatile and unpredictable, and it's causing significant turbulence in the global energy markets. As we've discussed, there are various scenarios that could lead to disruptions in energy supplies, and these disruptions can have far-reaching consequences. It's a complex issue that touches the lives of individuals around the world, affecting everything from gas prices to the cost of everyday goods. As we move forward, it's essential to stay informed about the evolving situation in the Middle East and its impact on energy markets. It's also a reminder of the importance of strategic reserves and the need for nations to proactively manage their energy resources and security. Please share your thoughts on this matter in the comments below. Your insights and perspectives are valuable in understanding the broader implications of these developments. Disclaimer: this article provides an overview of the current situation in the energy markets and the potential consequences of escalating conflicts in the Middle East. The information presented is based on available data as of the knowledge cutoff date in January 2022, and the situation may have evolved since then.